Good evening. Good evening. Let us begin not with more verbiage, not with a parade of fine phrases, but with the one thing that heals and helps: presence. Presence is not sound. Presence is not mental gymnastics. Presence is the still awareness of God here, now, as the life of you and of me. Be still and know that I am God. Do you see? We will not clutter this hour with too many words, because words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. At best, words are the finger pointing. They are not the moon. The moon is here. We live in a time of abundant talk, affirmations, declarations, beautiful statements printed and recited until the tongue grows nimble and the heart remains untouched. I have nothing against a good word when it is needed to prime the pump, but I tell you honestly, positive talk without transformation becomes a spiritual anesthesia. It dulls the ache for God and leaves the wound unhealed. You know, the master's measure, by their fruits ye shall know them, not by their syllables, not by their glow, but by their fruits. Do you follow that? So tonight, I ask you to permit a quiet challenge. Let us set aside fascination with saying truths, and let us seek the living presence that does the work. Let us agree that, for us, rhetoric will never be the standard, results will. When God is realized, life works, problems lift, fear thins out, relationships soften into grace. Supply appears in ways too ordinary to boast about and too sure to doubt. We will accept no substitute for that fruitage. If we have it, we know. If we lack it, we will not pretend. There is no shame in that. There is only the invitation to deeper realization. In crisis, my conversation is usually limited to 4 words. I will help you. It is rare that anything else is wanted. A speech at a hospital bed is cruelty. A lecture in the presence of grief is vanity. Stand still inside. Let the presence go before you to make the crooked places straight. I and the Father are one. Not 2 here, 1. The help is not in a formula. The help is in the realized isness of God here. And so I will help you, and then silence, listening, beholding. Before any system, before any method, we begin with this foundation. God is. Harmony is. Life is. We are not conjuring health or peace or abundance. We are consenting to what is already so. As this consent deepens, the words fall away, and the word speaks within. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear that said within you, about you, and about the one who calls for help. We will move from there tonight, not to impress, but to bear witness to what is presence first. Talk, if at all, a distant second. Do you see? Now let us face the contradiction that trips earnest people every day. A fear rises, a need appears, and out come the formulas as if they were levers to pry open heaven. 10 affirmations before breakfast, 20 at noon, another 10 at night, just to be sure. This is not prayer. This is compulsion dressed in piety. It is an attempt to force an effect rather than to yield to presence, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Do you see? When you use words to bully the universe into your plan, you are not touching God. You are rubbing a charm and calling it faith. Worse, words in the wrong hour can wound. A woman sits beside a child's hospital bed and someone says, "There are no accidents in divine mind." Another faces the fresh ache of loss and hears, "Death is not real." That is not comfort. That is antagonism. It hardens resistance. It makes the sufferer feel unseen, and it turns truth into a taunt. Weep with them that weep. Let tenderness go before doctrine. In such moments, my conversation is usually limited to, I will help you, then silence, then beholding. The word must be felt, not flung. The letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. Do you follow that? There's another pitfall mood mistaken for realization. A stirring service, a beautiful song, a well-phrased statement, and one floats on a glow, saying, I feel so uplifted. Then the bill arrives, or the diagnosis hardens, and the glow collapses. Panic rushes in again. That was an emotional jag, not God realized. The peace of God does not spike and crash. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. The world's peace is a mood, contingent and fragile. The Christ peace is presence felt as an undercurrent that remains while appearances change. If you are measuring your progress by how high your mood soars, you will be deceived. Measure by how steady your foot is when the wind blows. Let us be honest. Much of what passes for affirmation is self-soothing. It puts a little cotton between the mind and its fear, and for an hour the alarm quiets. But fear returns because nothing was realized. No contact was made. Not every one that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will. Doing the will is not many words. It is inner consenting to God. It shows itself not in speeches, but in fruit. If the talk calms for a moment and leaves you unchanged, you have had anesthesia, not healing. So we set before ourselves a single question, simple searching, and fair. Is it real, or only talk that soothes for a moment? If it is real, it will live as results, quietness where fear once was, guidance where confusion reigned, softening where friction used to burn. If it is only talk, let us not be ashamed to say so. Let us stop reciting at the problem and stand still. Words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. We will not insult God or our neighbor with platitudes. We will seek presence and let presence speak for itself by the fruits, not by the phrases. Do you see? Let us then place the standard where the Master placed it. By their fruits ye shall know them. Fruitage is not a glow, not a theory passed along, but life that works. Fruitage is tangible harmony, problems that used to linger now resolving more quickly, fears that once shouted now reduced to a whisper and then to silence, guidance appearing at the right hour without strain, relationships softening, supply becoming steady and ordinary, like sunrise. Fruitage is the peace of God remaining under your day, not as a mood that swells and sinks, but as an undercurrent, the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, there while the facts of the hour change. Do you see? How shall you know? By your life experience, by the fruitage. If you are touching God, your life will report it. Not in fireworks, usually, in simple continuities. The same bill that threw you into a panic 6 months ago is now met without tremor. The same personality that once provoked you into argument now meets a quieter you, and the argument does not happen. The child sleeps when you stand by the bed and say, I will help you, and then keep still inside. The pain that used to claim days claims only minutes and then is gone. If those who call you for help are helped gently, without show, there is fruitage. If your own household feels safer because you live there, there is fruitage. If your decisions come cleaner and faster, if your conscience pricks sooner and your apology arrives quicker, there is fruitage. Do you follow that? Let us be fair. We are not setting up perfectionism. We are establishing direction and continuity. Even Jesus asked, could ye not watch with me 1 hour, indicating tendencies in disciples to waver? So do not look for flawlessness. Look for unmistakable movement. Are problems resolving more readily than a year ago? Are you steadier under pressure than last month? Is there increasing rest where there used to be strain? If yes, that continuity is the signature of realization unfolding. If no, be honest. If it isn't showing up as fruitage, it isn't realization yet. The yet is important. It invites you back to practice, not into shame. Fruitage is also seen in your use to others. Feed my sheep, said the risen Christ to Peter. If your presence feeds comfort without argument, strength without control, quietness that steadies, then the Spirit has access through you. If your words decrease and help increases, you are growing. If your calendar is the same but your days feel less crowded, you are living closer to is. These are not pious fancies. These are markers. Keep them. Read them. If they are present in increasing measure, give thanks and continue. If they are missing, do not talk louder, go deeper. Stand still, listen, and let God be God as you. The fruit will tell the truth. Let us now give our work its plain geometry, two small words that end striving. The first is as, the second is. If you can take these into your bones, you will find that much of what you have been trying to do falls away, and what is true begins to show itself as your life. Do you see? As means God, the invisible appearing as the visible individual. God is manifest as individual being. I and the Father are one, not two beings in parallel, not a divine somewhere and a human here, but one manifesting as. When the Master said, "He that hath seen me hath seen the Father," he did not mean a personal superiority. He meant transparency, God seen as the form called Jesus. Take that into yourself. God appears as you. The life you call I is not a lonely spark off in a corner. It is the Son of God in expression. Hear the voice say within, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." That is the truth of you and of your neighbor and of the one who irritates you and of the one who calls you for help. AS dissolves separation. AS ends inferiority and ends spiritual vanity too, because there is no personal doer, only God, as is means present, isness. Harmony is, life is, love is, abundance is, peace is. You are not trying to make reality behave. You are consenting to what eternally is. Do you follow that? You do not strain to create a law any more than you try to force arithmetic. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 become 4. You are realizing it is 4. So with God. You are not attempting to invent health or supply. You are recognizing that the fullness of the kingdom already is. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine, not later ever with me. When you rest in IS, the anxious future tense, will it, won't it, when will it, has no air to breathe. Now watch how this changes practice. A condition shouts. The old habit is to fix, to argue, to press words against the picture. Drop that. Be still. God appearing as this very individual, no other self here, is the completeness of God now, no process needed to make it true. Before Abraham was, I am. In that beholding, the picture that frightened you begins to be seen as only a picture, and the reality that always was begins to come to the surface as orderly outcome. Not because you twisted it there with affirmations, but because you yielded to isness. These 2 words end the treadmill. AS secures identity. AS secures rest. Together they cure the impulse to manage effects and return us to first cause. If you forget everything else tonight, take these. God is you. God is. Whisper them if you must to prime the pump, and then grow quiet so that the word can witness itself. When that happens, you will find that life works in ways too simple to boast about, By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know. Do you see? Now, to keep that rest, we must learn to see through what would disturb it. Error, so called, is not a person, not a condition, not a law, not a substance. It is a suggestion only, a suggestion masquerading as something. Do you see? When you treat it as a something, you lend it your fear and your fight. And in that instant, you have created for yourself two powers. But hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, one power, one presence, one law. The moment your eye is single, your whole body is full of light. If the eye is double God and a problem, you will be busy managing shadows. Take the old story of the rope in the dusk. A man jumps back, heart pounding. A snake. Another brings a lamp. It is rope. There never was a snake to kill or to heal. There was only a bewitching of sight. Or think of streetcar tracks that appear to meet at the horizon. Do you send out a crew to pry them apart? Of course not. You correct the seeing. Or that non-existent white poodle a child insists is in the yard. Imagination clothed it with bark and fur, but there is nothing to leash. This is what I mean by hypnotism, universal suggestion, a belief in two powers pushing itself into your thought as fact. The correction is not warfare. It is light. Let God be true, but every man a liar, meaning let the isness of God stand and every contrary suggestion be recognized for what it is, the arm of flesh, nothingness. What, then, is your directive in practice? Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Turn at once from the picture to presence. If someone calls, say within, I will help you, and then remove your thought from their name and their symptoms. Stand still. Behold God as the only life there, and rest in isness here. Resist not evil, said the Master, because resistance grants reality to the mirage. He did not argue with storms. He said, peace, be still, out of one power realized. In that inner hush, the hypnotism loses its borrowed breath. Do you follow that? Let this be very practical. The critical employer is not a difficult person. It is suggestion saying, here is a power to fear. Drop it. Behold God appearing as that one, this is my beloved son, and watch the sting fall out of the scene. The painful joint is not a law of decline. It is suggestion repeating a universal tale. Drop it. Rest in I am. Life is. And let the body report to the one who is life. The lean bank account, the frightening headline, the family friction, all are invitations to believe in two powers. Decline the invitation. Keep your eyes single. You will find that fear slackens first, then conduct softens, then forms adjust without your pushing. This is not denial of compassion. It is the form compassion takes when it knows one power. We do not scold a sufferer. We refuse to enthrone their suffering as a second God. We look back of the eye and behold the Christ of God, God as the individual, and we rest in what is. When error is seen as impersonal suggestion, its hold breaks. So, give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Behold. Listen. Let isness be the only actor. The fruit will tell you the truth. Do you see, when the phone rings at midnight, when a voice shakes on the other end, do not reach for speeches, reach for presence. My conversation is usually limited to, I will help you. Then I get silent inside first, outside if the moment allows. Words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. The help is not in your vocabulary. The help is in the realized isness of God here. Be still and know that I am God. Do you see? Your first act is inward. Withdraw thought from the person and from the condition. Drop the name. Drop the symptoms. Drop the clock. Stand where one is. God appearing as this very individual, no other self here. The fullness of God present, nothing to make, nothing to change. Here within, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Let that sentence look through your eyes. It is not flattery, it is recognition. I and my Father are one. You are not pleading, you are consenting. You are not arguing with the storm. You are resting in the one before whom storms have no mandate. Peace, be still. In crisis, unsee human good as well as human evil. Do you follow that? Do not magnify a villain and do not enthrone a hero. If you attribute power to a kindly visitor or to a harsh one, you have slipped into two powers. See through both masks to the invisible source. The ministering presence that steadies the room is not personality, it is God as the only life there. In that recognition, kindness finds you, skill finds you, decisions arrange themselves, but you do not bow to instruments as cause. In him we live and move and have our being. I recall a call when fear had the household by the throat. I said only, I will help you. Then I closed my eyes not to escape, but to behold. Within the recognition, God is. Life is. This is my beloved Son. The room quieted, as if an opened window had let weather pass through. Voices lowered. The child slept. The correct steps, simple, human, unsensational, presented themselves without anyone forcing a plan. No one was preached at. No one was corrected. Presence did the lifting. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. If you must speak, say little and mean it. I am here. Rest a moment. We will be still together. Then listen. My sheep hear my voice, not the voice of my mind, but the inner word that instructs without noise. Refuse every impulse to lecture the sufferer with bright sayings. Refuse every temptation to rehearse a diagnosis in your head. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Stand in the one is. In a few breaths, you will feel the atmosphere turn. Fear loses its center, and the next right thing becomes obvious. This is the ministry of I will help you. Realized presence instead of spoken pressure, beholding instead of fixing, consent instead of compulsion. Meet crisis by standing in God as the one appearing here now and by inward assent to what already is. The fruit will disclose whether you stood or only spoke, by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? From here, let us make plain the method, because love must be intelligent. There are two stages, like the two breaths of one prayer. The first is conscious knowing the letter used rightly. The second is receptivity, the spirit that breathes the letter alive. The letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. Do you see? Stage one is brief and clean. Prime the pump. State truth, not as a shout toward heaven, but as a key that opens a door you then walk through. God is, I am, I and the Father are one. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. God appearing as me, as you. Harmony is, life is, love is, abundance is. Say it once, maybe twice, and mean it. Do not pile words. Too many words cloud the water. The purpose is not to convince God or hypnotize yourself. It is to orient the mind to what is so. As a line's identity is anchor's presence. Then stop, be still. Now stage two, receptive listening. Turn from your statement to the silence and consent. Be still and know that I am God. Not think that I am God. No, the activity shifts. You are no longer declaring truth at truth. You are letting truth announce itself in you. My sheep hear my voice. Let that voice speak without your composing it. If a sentence rises within, it is often simple, tender, unlabored, sometimes only, I am here. If nothing rises, remain quietly consenting. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. This inner hearing is not imagination. It is the awareness that stills fear and straightens the spine. Stay a few minutes. Do not strain. Wait upon the Lord until the atmosphere changes, a softening, a surety. Do you follow that? With practice, a maturation occurs. The initiative moves from you to spirit. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. You will find fewer openings for your cleverness and more evidence of the presence going before you to make the crooked places straight. Words recede, guidance increases. You notice that you are not trying to remember truth. Truth is remembering you. The inner word begins to set your timings, edit your sentences before they are spoken, turn your feet another way at the curb. You become the transparency for an activity that is not personal. The day feels carried. What then is the outcome? A state of consciousness that bears its own evidence. Problems meet you and seem to have less to fasten to. Many dissolve before they qualify for a name, and it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. Peace undergirds tasks. Decisions come cleaner. Help flows through without fuss. This is how you read your prayer, by your life experience, by the fruitage. Begin with clear statements. Grow into listening. Let spirit take over. Keep the rhythm daily until the evidence becomes your quiet confidence. Do you see? Let us make this simple and livable. Realization is not an hour on a cushion. It is frequent quiet turnings that stitch presence into the day. Think of them as appointments with is, brief, sincere, and kept. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Stayed meaning returned to again and again. Do you see? At waking before the world rushes your attention. Sight, identity, not pep talk, beholding, God appearing as I. This very life, this awareness, waking, is the Father showing forth as Son. Here within, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Let it rest on you and on all you will meet today. God appearing as, then is, harmony is, guidance is, supply is, not later now. Whisper it once and then listen a minute. I and my Father are one, not two here, one. Rise from the bed as from an altar, not because you have wound yourself up, but because you have consented. Do you follow that? At work, make a small pause. At thresholds, door handles, meeting links, phone calls. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. God appearing as every face in this room. One mind governing, one life animating. It is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Enter from that. You will notice arguments that used to call your name do not find you. You will find words given you in the hour or silence given you, which is often better. The difficult colleague, decline the invitation to two powers. Behold the Christ of God, back of the mask, and proceed. The fruitage will be steadier meetings, fewer frictions, clearer timing. With money, bring the same scene. Do not worship figures. Fear is a kind of worship. When you open the account or pay a bill, pause. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Supply is presence expressing as ideas, right contacts, wise choices, orderly flow, not accumulation, as a second God. Seek ye first the kingdom, and forms will report to the one. Pay what is yours to pay without drama. Receive without clutching. Decisions about purchase or giving will come cleanly when you rest in isness first. You will be surprised how often enough appears in common, unsensational ways, by your life experience, by the fruitage. At meals, let gratitude be more than courtesy. Let it be recognition. A few breaths of quiet. Give us this day our daily bread, realizing bread as the activity of God, not the work of anxious hands. In him we live and move and have our being. Taste becomes prayer. Conversation softens. Haste loses its grip. Add small resets. A minute in the car before turning the key. A stillness after reading a headline. A hallway pause between tasks. Be still and know that I am God. 10 seconds can reset the tone of an hour. 7 times a day, you may lift your eyes without making a show. These frequent, simple turnings are the loom on which realization weaves itself into common life. Then you will not need to ask if it is working. The day will tell you. My yoke is easy becomes evidence, not motto. Do you see? Tonight, let your life speak back to you and accept its report with gratitude rather than defense. By their fruits ye shall know them, not by theories, not by intensity of effort, but by fruitage. Do you see? Sit quietly with paper and a simple willingness. Search me, O God, and know my heart, and let facts be teachers, not to shame, to guide. We are reading outcomes to know where to deepen as and where to rest further in is. Begin with the body. Ask, what is my time to peace when a sensation startles me? Minutes or days? Are episodes shorter than 6 months ago? Is sleep more natural, appetite less anxious, energy steadier? That is speed of resolution. Is my response gentler, less dramatized by fear, less self-attacking? That is gentleness of response. If the same twinge sends the same panic every week, you are likely practicing the letter at the symptom, not the spirit in silence. You have made a second power of the arm of flesh. Drop it. Behold, life is, I am the Lord that healeth thee. Move to the home. Is the atmosphere softer? Are conversations cleaner? When a sharp word flies, how fast does apology arrive? Time to peace again. When frictions recur on the same topic, do they resolve sooner? Speed of resolution. Is your voice becoming quieter under pressure? Gentleness of response. A soft answer turneth away wrath. If the same quarrel loops monthly, you are probably seeing a person instead of hypnotism's suggestion. 2 powers are at work in your belief, not in truth. God appearing as each one. Rest in is, peace is. Then watch the loop loosen, at work. Look without drama. Are meetings shorter and steadier? Are decisions timely, with fewer redos? Do you find words given you in the hour, or the wisdom to keep silence, speed of resolution, and gentleness of response again? If chronic dread greets every Monday, let that pattern tell you the job is being granted a second power in your thought. Drop it. It is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father. Keep your eye single and enter from isness. Finances, are bills met with less theater? Is fear quieter at month's turn? Are giving and receiving becoming simple without clutching? That is gentleness of response to figures. Are shortfalls less frequent, handled faster with clean guidance? That is speed of resolution. If numbers still dictate your atmosphere, you are worshiping a ledger. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Let supply be presence, not a second God. Finally, peace itself. Take a week in memory. Count the shocks. Then ask, how quickly did I find the floor? Time to peace. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. World peace spikes and crashes, Christ's peace undergirds. If your inner weather is still at the mercy of headlines and texts, be honest. More listening, fewer words. More beholding, less managing. Now, mark patterns where the same trouble circles back with the same noise. You have evidence of letter without spirit or a subtle belief in two powers. Good. You have located your next practice. Do not argue with the report, receive it. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Then adjust. Reduce speech. Deepen depersonalization. Return to AS and IS. Schedule more brief turnings. Let results, not ego, set your curriculum. By your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? Again and again, I have watched quiet awareness outrun words. Let me place a few scenes before you, not to parade wonders, but to let you observe how presence, realized, does its own convincing. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Do you see? A tense room first. Several were gathered around a bed, voices clipped, one weeping, another angry at the delay of results, the air thick with clock watching. I said, only I will help you. Then inwardly I released the names, the symptoms, the timeline, give not a thought to the person or the condition. God appearing as each one here, no other self. Life is, peace is, be still and know that I am God. I did not try to make anything happen. I rested in one. Within a minute, the storm spent itself. No speech had done it. A nurse loosened her jaw and spoke gently. The agitated relative sat down without being told. The patient's breathing lengthened into a steady rhythm, and the right instruction, simple, practical, came to the team as if it had been waiting just outside the door. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. That is fruitage, an atmosphere transfigured by presence, not managed by talk. Do you follow that? A long-standing friction next two partners, each with a record of old hurts, sharpening their words by habit. The human impulse was to convene a summit and hash it out. We did no such thing. For several days I practiced without announcement. Morning and evening I looked back of the eye. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, God, as each. I unsaw both villain and victim. Each time the mind tried to recite grievances, I dropped it and returned to one. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. On the fourth day, one called the other, no agenda, only an unforced apology for a very old sentence. No debate followed. A lightness entered the work. Processes that had required 3 signatures and 2 grudges began to flow. No confrontation had produced it. Beholding had dissolved the hypnotism that required sides. The arm of flesh had been recognized as nothing, and so it lost its voice. Lastly, provision. A bill with a hard date pressed the household into hurry and dread. They had plans to borrow, plead, push. I asked them to pause for a single hour. No schemes, no calls. We sat in silence. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Is the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. We declined the second god of figures. Fear thinned. Within the day, 2 unsensational answers arrived, an old invoice paid without prompting, and a practical idea that reduced the bill by half, legally and cleanly. No campaign had achieved it. Consent to isness had revealed what already was at hand. Before they call, I will answer. By your life experience, by the fruitage. The thread in all 3 is plain. Not speech, but beholding AS and resting in is. Fewer words, clearer seeing, steadier rhythm. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Presence realized accomplishes what speech could not. Let your own seeings bear witness. Do you see Now let us protect what has been given. Many a good beginning is lost on the rocks of the emotional jag, highs and lows mistaken for realization. Guard the practice. Fewer words, clearer seeing, steadier rhythm. By their fruits ye shall know them. Do you see? Not by your best mood, not by your tears, not by your gooseflesh, by your life experience, by the fruitage. If the problems are more quickly and quietly settling, if fear shortens its visits, if kindness is happening where temper once reigned, then you are resting in isness. If not, you may be entertaining yourself with feelings. Drop it. Measure by outcomes, not by ecstasies. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. World peace spikes and vanishes. Christ peace abides and works. First pitfall, chasing feelings. The antidote is to track fruitage. Keep your eye single on speed of resolution and gentleness of response. How long from shock to quiet? How readily do right actions present themselves? If a day feels flat but decisions are clean and mercy quickens your tongue, do not scold the day. Give thanks, Spirit is working without fanfare. If a day feels lofty but leaves a trail of frictions, be honest, that was an emotional jag. Return to AS and IS, and let your ledger be the life you are living. Second pitfall, voicing platitudes to the suffering. The antidote is silent help. My conversation is usually limited to "I will help you." Words are only auxiliaries. Words sometimes are an interference. Do you see? Do not throw bright sayings at a raw wound. There are no accidents in divine mind, and imagine you have ministered. Be still and know. Withdraw thought from person and condition, drop it. Stand within, A's. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Is, peace is. If you must speak, say little and mean it. I am here. Rest. In that hush, presence does the lifting. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Third pitfall, personalizing error. The antidote is to recognize impersonal suggestion. Hypnotism only belief in two powers. The critical boss is not your persecutor. The ache is not a law. The bill is not a second god. Snake in the rope. Arm of flesh nothingness. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Look back of the eye and behold God appearing as the very one before you. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. Do you follow that? When the mask is seen as mask, its threat dissolves. Fourth pitfall, over-talking practice. The antidote is brief truths, longer listening. Prime the pump. God is, I and the Father are one. Harmony is. Then stop. Be still. Let the inner word announce itself. My sheep hear my voice. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 become 4. You are consenting that it is 4. Say less, hear more. The letter aligns. The spirit performs. Fifth pitfall, a lazy rhythm, many good intentions, few kept appointments. The antidote is a simple, steady rule. Daily appointments with is. At waking, at thresholds, with money, at meals, 10 seconds a minute AS, God appearing as I is. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, stayed returned to many times. Set reminders if you must. This is not a lazy man's work, but it is gentle work. Fewer words, clearer seeing, steadier rhythm. Prove it by your life experience, by the fruitage. Do you see? Now let us make a simple promise to ourselves and to God, and keep it for 7 days. Not to impress heaven, not to impress each other, but to let fruitage speak, presence over talk. AS and IS. Do you see? Each morning, before you touch the world, sight, identity in one sentence, not a speech, one sentence. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Or, I and the Father are one. God appearing as I. Say it once, mean it, then be still. 2 minutes of listening. Set a quiet timer if you must. Be still and know that I am God. Allow no composition, only consent. Let the inner word, if it rises, come of itself. My sheep hear my voice. If nothing rises, rest anyway. You are priming the day with recognition and receptivity, the letter yielding to spirit. Do you follow that? Through the day, keep 3 silent pauses. Choose your thresholds. Before the first meeting, at midday, as evening begins, 30 seconds, a minute. Drop person and condition. God appearing as all I meet, colleague, customer, stranger, family, one presence governing. Peace is. Supply is. Whisper nothing outwardly. Stand inwardly. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 become 4. You are consenting that it is 4. Fewer words, clearer seeing. When you are asked for help this week, one request will find you. Say only, I will help you. Then withdraw thought from name, symptom, story. Give not a thought to the person or the condition. Drop it. Behold, this is my beloved Son. Rest, God is. Stay until the atmosphere shifts, even slightly. If you must speak again, let it be simple. I am here. Then let presence do the lifting, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Each night, keep a fruitage log, 5 minutes. What resolved today? What softened? How long from shock to quiet, time to peace? Were decisions cleaner? Did an apology arrive sooner? Did fear loosen its hold on figures or symptoms? Note gentleness of response and speed of resolution. If a trouble circled back unchanged, mark it without drama. You have located tomorrow's practice. By their fruits ye shall know them. After 7 days, read the week as scripture written in your own life. Adjust by facts, not by moods. Where fruitage is thin, reduce speech and increase listening. Add a 4th pause. Deepen depersonalization. See hypnotism, not person. Where fruitage is strong, give thanks and keep the rhythm. Prove me now herewith, and watch for windows to open in unsensational ways. This is not a lazy man's work, but it is gentle work. Live as, rest in is. Prove the teaching by your life experience. By the fruitage, I will help you. Do you see? Thank you.